So how did we do in the draft? Welcome back, Raider Nation, to my champions. This is Eric, and we are live once again on a Friday evening. How you guys doing post-draft? I know we were here live during the first day of the draft. I had a lot of fun with it, a lot of surprises, a lot of trade action going on. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I want to say hello to all of you right now. I see some people already filing in, as well as you guys watching on replay. And I got to urge you guys, if you do enjoy the content, especially if you're watching on replay, why not subscribe to the channel? That way you get the notifications. You hit that little bell notification like everybody says. It'll notify you of all of our future live streams so you can be here live with us and chat directly. And like I said before, we will be doing our live Q&A right there. I have the link in the pinned comment. Once we get to Q&A, you can come on. You do not have to show your face on the camera. We will be doing that. We have a lot of fun with that as well. Let's see who else is here tonight. Dominique, how you doing? What's up? What's up? I see you as well. we've got some popcorn crowd people putting little comments in here before. That's okay though. You don't have to agree with me now. A little controversy with the title, obviously, that I put out there as far as greatness, but I am a little optimistic. I will say that. I will be giving out grades. I'll be doing grades a little bit differently if you're a longtime follower of the channel. A little bit differently this time. I wanted to have a few different factors instead of just giving an A through F grade. I wanted to let you know how I felt about it and kind of an overall. So how are you guys doing out there tonight? Let's see. I want to make sure we got a couple people. Yeah, again, a lot of times people just start filing in here. We're going to talk about all the draft picks. I'm going to go into the first 3 draft picks in detail. That's why I have them on the thumbnail. I'll give a brief summary of the other 5. Depending on the interest on Patreon, I'll do full videos on there if you would like to see those as well. Very interesting, some of these. One of the day 3 guys I am very stoked about. We will get to that. I'm very excited about that. Let's see who else is here. Art White. We're going to talk about your guy too. Spoiler alert. How are you doing tonight? Yeah, so we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight. So I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you guys are not only here, but you guys contribute. A lot of regulars like to come in here. And we do accept the new ones as well, but I do enjoy all the regulars that come in here and contribute to the channel, both on the stream and also on Restream. And the link is in the description once we get to the Q&A. And that said, let's get right into this. We got a lot to cover, and I want to talk to you guys as well. So let's get right into this. Hang on, let's see. So if you're new to the channel, this is what we do. We have a rundown. This is our topic list. I'll have it running at the bottom as well. This is basically what we're going to be talking about in this live stream. And then we're going to throw it to you if you guys want to have any questions about the Raiders, if you want to talk about the draft, my opinions on the draft, my grades, etc. We'll do that in Q&A. We can do that in the chat. And again, live if you want to on Restream. That will be open there. So without further ado, let's get to it.
Take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now, of course, you guys, I appreciate every single time you guys come out here. I appreciate every single time you participate in the chat. These are just basically the subscriber counts. Of course, you want the channel to grow. Unfortunately, YouTube is kind of getting into a little sluggish streak again. The channel's kind of basically flatlining. So I know a lot of people, I'm not saying this to my heart. A lot of people say, well, I want to give a super chat. I can't give super chats out until I get to 1,000 subs. It's crazy. As long as this channel's been around, it should be way larger. They kind of like play with it. They open the restrainer, then close it back up. So if you do want to support the channel, I do have a Patreon. It's entirely up to you. I will be putting out extra content on there as well once we, as we get the support for that. So I do thank you as well. I gotta put this up. We got a few people in here already. We got the we dropped some football players. Yeah, exactly. We'll get to that in a minute. Officer Rollout, good to see you here as well. You're on a donut break. That's great. That's great. I hope nobody's robbing the Springfield Bank. Well, okay, let's get to that. Thank you guys for that. Now let's get to what we normally get to. The first thing I do is have a poll of the week. And of course, it's related to the live stream that we do. And this one's no exception, of course. I asked, what rookie were you guys most excited about post-draft here? About half of you said the first round pick, Tyree Wilson, and then it kind of went down the list. I put the other because you can only have 4 options, and this also includes the undrafted free agents that we're going to kind of briefly go over as well. Very interesting with that. I will give you my opinion on this as far as being most excited about when we go through that. Now, one other thing, this is how I am. I got to give credit where credit's due. Now, if you were here during the live stream last week, during the first day of the draft, we had a little contest for the first 7 picks until the Raiders picked. I was giving points out for predictions, and I got to give it to Hefe. He came in here. Basically, the tide was turned on the Seattle pick with Witherspoon. The rest of us picked Jalen Carter. It didn't happen. Congratulations to you. Still think the Chiefs suck, but congratulations to you. So that said, let's actually talk about the Raiders draft picks, shall we? Yes, let's talk about those draft picks. So we're going to go right down the line. So let's talk about that first round draft pick. Of course, it is Tyree Wilson, 7th overall. Now, if you were here last week, I was a little excited about this pick, and not in a real good way. I will give out my grades here in a minute. The more I see this guy, the more I kind of understand why they went this direction versus, say, a Christian Gonzalez. And I will explain this right now. 6'6", 275. PFF grade was 74.5. Now, his PFF grade has been improving the past 3 years. So that's one thing to note. Now, some of the things about this guy I want to talk about. Obviously, he's a physical freak. Now, if Al was here, he would like this guy. Not only big, he's actually bigger, he's taller, and he's got a wider arm span, wingspan than Max Crosby does. Now, Max Crosby has about an 81-inch wingspan, which is pretty big. He has an 86-inch wingspan. It's unbelievable, and he is a physical specimen. He is long, and he is strong, and he uses that to bully the offensive lineman. That is basically his forte, mostly doing power moves, and pretty successful at it. Now, he didn't have as many sacks as Anderson did, but Anderson's a little bit different type of player. He's more of an outside linebacker, 3-4 edge rusher guy, little smaller as well, but he created a lot of turmoil. And not only that, he creates a lot of turmoil in the run support as well. So he can stop the run as well. It's not just a pass rusher. Now, some people are saying he's kind of like Cleve Farrell. I don't think that's really fair, even though he can support the run. I think he's just a little bit unpolished. He's going to need a little bit more tools in the box as far as more finesse moves. You don't see a whole lot of that from him because basically he didn't need to do that in college. Now you got Max Crosby, you got Chandler Jones there to help him out. And I think he has a lot of potential. I got to put a huge ceiling. I put MG. I put Myles Garrett there because I think physically speaking, he is very comparable to Myles Garrett. Now, is he going to be the next Myles Garrett? I sure as hell hope so. I'm not saying he necessarily is, but if he can't, holy moly, this pick at 7 is more than worth it. Now, I did change it. I don't have the actual A through F grades here. I went on a 5-star scale, and I wanted to have different categories here. Now, one is the fit. Is it a good fit for the offense or the defense? Now, I'm going to say absolutely yes, because we need more pass rushing. He is a prototypical 4-3 type defensive end, and that we basically run a 4-3 or a 4-2-5 mostly. I think that makes sense as far as the scheme itself. Now, our need, I put it at 3 stars. We still have Chandler Jones. they did manipulate the contract a little bit, but he's going to be here at least for another year. So is that an immediate need? Not necessarily. Chandler Jones really needs to step up, especially for the money we're paying him. So I had that value. I put it as average because everybody was having him go in the top 10. So at 7, that's not real value as far as draft pick goes. But the future is bright. I think this could be a 5-star player coming out. He could very well be Myles Garrett. So overall, I gave it a 4-star. Again, I think this kind of makes sense. And the more I think about it, because I've said this before and it's not a popular opinion, I think we're in total rebuild mode. We have Jimmy G here. The defense has been terrible. We're not there yet, at least for a year. And once we get Chandler Jones out of here after this last year, salary cap wise, it's going to be a lot less cap on us. Plus, we're paying for the sins of the last regime, Carl Nassib and all these other guys. It's like almost 30 million in dead cap. So we have to pay the piper. Unfortunately, the new regime has to clean up the mess. And we got a guy who could very well be Myles Garrett here across from Max Crosby. Officer Rollout says, we threw out a better draft with all the trade backs. Your instincts are solid. A couple things with that. I'll put this up. A couple things. If you want to look at our old mock draft videos, I did condensed versions if you're watching this live or on replay after the live stream. Yes, we did get a lot of value, but I don't think a lot of those players wouldn't have been there where they were. So I think we benefited from the misvaluing of the websites themselves, the mock draft generator. So I'm not going to take too much value into that. But yeah, the one we traded back to like 23, got Lucas Van Ness and got 2 first round picks for the next year. That was unbelievable. So that said, I think the more I look at this, the more it makes sense to me to get a guy here at 7. Now let's go to our next draft pick. We actually moved up a little bit for this guy. Michael Mayer, tight end, Notre Dame, Golden Domer, 6'4", 265, of course. We had to move up. Laporta was picked before him, and I think they were a little antsy, so they wanted to go up and get their guy, which is okay. PFF grade at 92.5. Wow. Okay, let's talk about this guy. A lot of people call him Baby Gronk as a nickname. If you're old school, you might look at him and say Dave Casper. They both wore 87, same thing as Gronk. Similar type body mold. Good with the ball, pretty good hands. He can catch balls in traffic. And not only that, I call him a complete tight end, but also a punishing tight end. He can not only catch the ball, but he can give as good as he gets. And that's not only with blocking. He can block well too, and he likes to block. But from videos I've seen, he doesn't really step out of bounds too often. He's going to put his shoulder down and make you pay and knock him out of bounds. So I like that from him. Let's see. Another thing I looked at with the film is he almost runs routes kind of like a slot, especially in the red zone. Nickel corners have fits with this guy trying to cover him. Safeties have fits trying to cover this guy. He has a couple juke moves and he puts his foot in the ground and goes. And I mean, I'm not going to say it's like Hunter Renfrow, but maybe Hunter Renfrow light. And given his size, that is unbelievable. That is unbelievable, and he's won a lot. Now, the knock on him is that he's rather slow. He ran a 4.7. That's relatively slow speaking. I don't call that really slow, but you got to have a knock on the guy. I'm gonna say he's gonna be a menace in the middle for us, and this is kind of where it reflects in my grades here as far as a fit goes with this offense. Now we got Jimmy G. I've talked about this before. I know a lot of people called Carr a check down Charlie. Jimmy G is right there along with him. I'm just going to say that. I think Derek Carr had more air yards than Jimmy G. So I'm looking at a short and to intermediate pass game, not a lot of long bombs with this offense. And this is another fit, right? And of course the need. I put 5 stars there because of Darren Waller trade. Foster Moreau got ill. I know we got Austin Hooper, but he hasn't really done much since he was with Atlanta, right? And we got him for like $2.5 million, chump change. So I think they were going to go after a tight end all along. This is probably the guy they were targeting all along. And then once they saw Laporta go, They're like, oh crap, there's going to be a run. Let's go up and get our guy. And that, to me, the value around, I put a little bit higher. Some people were saying he was going to go late first. I think they got a little bit ahead of the game on the tight end run. There were a couple other, I think 5 tight ends in the second round total. So I gave that 4 stars. And as far as future goes, I gave it a 4-star. I think this guy's a really solid player. He's going to help us out in the middle. And not only that, convert first downs. I mean, if we keep Hunter Renfrow, I mean, we've got Jacoby Myers, we've got Hunter Renfrow. Of course, Tay can catch in the middle too, but he's usually more on the outside. And then this guy, what are these guys going to do to stop us? Not only moving the chains, but in the red zone. So it's going to help overall. So I think I'm more excited about this pick, one of them more than a lot of the other picks in this draft. Dominique, let's you guys say Love Mayer. Love Mayer pick. He'll be great. Yep. Complete tight end. Absolutely. He can catch the ball. He's got the size. He can block well. Light. He's twice. No, I meant the way he runs routes. I don't think he's as crisp as Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow is a beast at running routes, especially in the red zone. But you see a little bit of that with him if you watch the film. I'm just saying that they're going to cause fits in the short passing game and in the red zone, maybe at the 15-yard line. What are they going to do? How are they going to cover all these guys? It's going to be crazy. So let's get to our next guy I profiled here. And this is our 3rd round pick, Byron Young, defensive tackle, of course, from Alabama, 6'3", 292, 70th pick overall. PFF grade was not very good. I'd say 78, not terrible, but not awesome either. And it's a little weird because he has some parallels to Tyree Wilson, to be honest with you. He's a long, strong kind of guy, 81-inch wingspan. So we've got 3 guys that are going to be putting their hands up just like he's doing there, blocking passes. This is going to be very interesting. I call him the 2-gap missile because when you watch the film, this guy is just getting in there, that 2-gap. If he runs straight through it, it's very difficult. Even when he's double teamed, it's hard to block this guy, it seems so. And I put the run stops here because he's very good at stopping the run. The pass rush is okay. Again, this is like Tyree Wilson, needs a little bit more polishing in this area. And I think the expectation is a nice compliment for our edge rushers. I want to see this guy not only stop the run, but also create a little bit of pocket pressure right up the middle. Don't let guys like Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert squeeze out when our edges come for him. He's going to run right into Byron Young. I think that's the intention here in the 3rd round. Now, the fit, I think it's a decent fit. Of course, the need, DT is one of the biggest needs that we have, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Value is okay. I think that's where he was trending at around the 3rd round anyway. Future, I think it'll be okay. I think this is a decent one. Now, I grade a little bit more harshly here. I think we probably should have went DT a little bit later. But then again, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. If you go earlier, then you're not going to be able to get an edge rusher. If they wanted to get a solid edge rusher with Myles Garrett upside, then you have to pay for it on the other end. And then they got their tight end. So overall, a decent pick. This isn't a great pick. It's an okay pick in my opinion. Mr. Wombat, how you doing? Maybe this Notre Dame tight end will work out better than the other Notre Dame tight end way back when. Well, yeah, I'm not going to compare the two. So let's see. I want to go on to the rest. I call this and the rest. Like I said, if you guys want to go a little bit deeper, I'll probably do it on Patreon. If you guys want to do that, let me know. Trey Tucker, let's talk with him first. 5'9", 182. 100th pick overall in the 3rd round. Now, as far as a fit, I gave this one a pretty solid one because he could return kicks. He can also catch it over in the middle. He's a speedy type of receiver, and he can also stretch the field. So I think that's okay, but I see you there, Hefe. You missed out. I gave you some props for winning our draft prediction. You missed out. Oh, well, too bad. You have to rewind or something. I don't know. But anyway, the need. Here's my problem. Now, the big one is the value. I only gave it 1 star. A lot of people were saying this guy was a third day guy. Some were even saying undrafted free agent. I think this pick kind of reminded me of the old regime. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, he's going to be great. You just wait and see. I mean, let's be optimistic, yeah, but let's be a little realistic too. I think we probably could have got him a little bit later. I think this was kind of a swing and a miss overall. I think they probably targeted this guy and maybe they were spooked and they just wanted to get their guy and didn't really care. I give it a 2-star overall. Again, and not to mention, we already have 10 or 11. We have 11 wide receivers on the active roster now, including DJ Turner. He should be back from injury. Another speed guy. What's going to happen here? I don't know. I mean, how many wide receivers are we going to keep? At least 5 or 6 now. So, like I said, not a huge area of need, and I think we reached for the guy, especially in the 3rd round. Now, Corey Bennett, different story here with this guy. Corner, 5'11", 188. Got him in the 4th round. I'm thinking kind of physical kind of guy. I'm thinking kind of Duke Shelley-ish, a little bit bigger than him, of course. Not a big corner, but bigger than Duke Shelley, who's like, 5'9". So this is my grade for this. As far as a fit goes, I think it's nice. He can play man. He can play and stop the run too. He can come up on the ball. Very physical and won't shy away from contact. The need is obviously there. Cornerback room is paper thin. I've always talked about that. And then Rock Ya-Sin has recently signed with Baltimore, so he's gone too. So obviously we have a need at corner. A little bit late in the draft to address it. The value is a little bit under. 3 is probably an average. I give it a 2-star because he was kind of pegged to be in about the 5th round, so we moved about a round ahead. Now the future, I think he'd be a decent player. Let's see what he's got. Let's see what you guys. The rest are on the island with Gilligan. Mr. Wombat says, I have no problem with Turner. I can understand why they drafted him. I can't understand why he was taken so early. Yeah. Yeah, and when we did our mock drafts, Tyler Scott is a guy one of them we picked for speed, but we got him like in the 5th round. So, just want to build your self-esteem. We'll talk about your guy in a minute, Art. I promise. We have to have the smallest DB room. Like, yeah, there's a meme going around. I need to pull it, and I'll show you guys sometime. It's like the Hobbits. But it has our cornerbacks. It's hilarious. So anyway, I think it's a decent pick. Not a great pick. Like I said, I want to target some bigger corners. I think they're dead set on keeping Nate Hobbs on the outside. I'm not so sure about that, to be honest with you. I think he did a better job in the slot, but I think they want to get him some more playing time as well. All right, here we go, Art. We got your boy. Aiden O'Connell. The Art pick. 4th round, 135th overall. Big kid, 6'3", 213. Now, I talked about Clayton Tune before. He is kind of the opposite of Clayton Tune, other than the size. Where Clayton Tune's got a big arm, a little wild at times. Aiden O'Connell's pretty safe, pretty good between the ears. Good accuracy, basically, like I said, the opposite of Clayton Tune. So the fit is, to me, it's a 5-star. Obviously, with this McDaniels offense, short, intermediate receivers take over for Jimmy G once he gets hurt after 2 games or whatever. That could happen. That could very well happen. He's got the smarts to do it. Do we have a need for quarterback? Absolutely. The value, I put a little bit under. We got him at the end of the 4th. They were saying around 5th to 6th round with this guy. I don't know if it'll last that long. Probably about the 5th round. So little tiny bit of a reach, if you want to call it that. I wouldn't really call it a reach. The future, 4-star. He could very well be our future starting quarterback. Not to say he's going to be an Aaron Rodgers or anything, but maybe if the other components on the team are good enough, he'll be good enough just not to make mistakes, be actually efficient with the ball, etc. And I kept seeing film with him that 16. I was thinking Jim Plunkett. He's actually kind of about the same size as Plunkett too. So, but Plunkett had a deep arm too. So, not so much with this guy, to be honest. So, let's get to the other guy, Christopher. Well, let's see. Who's stopping Kelsey? Well, hang on. We might have an answer for that right now. This one's a very, very intriguing pick for me. This is a safety, Christopher Smith the second, 5'11", 192 in the 5th round. Let's get to this one because from what I've seen, not only is this a pretty darn good fit because he's very versatile. I think he could play up top, he could play come down in the box, be strong. They could probably put him as a slot corner, to be honest with you. The need's not necessarily there unless you want to put a 4-star there if you're going to give Trayvon Merrick some notice, because he kind of had a sophomore slump, let's be honest, especially compared to his rookie season. The value was awesome. A lot of these sites were pegging this guy to go in the 3rd round. And some people are comparing him to Earl Thomas, Legion of Boom, Seattle, old time. I'm not going to quite go there yet, but if he does, holy crap, what a steal in the 5th round. Let's be honest, guys. And he's a playmaker, creates turnovers, something we need on this defense. Let's be honest. So I like the versatility. I like the way he plays, and I am very optimistic with this player here, Chris Smith. Art White says we stole this guy. Yeah, we did. I don't know how he fell down there. So Art's talking about O'Connell here. He fits the system. Absolutely. He fit it more than Clayton Tune. I think I would have rather had Clayton Tune. He's more of a Raider, old school quarterback. Heave it down the field. I'm not really seeing this with this guy, especially deep. Not like Clayton Tune. Come on, cut our quarterback some slack. Too many high stakes will make it at least 4 games. I talked about this before when we signed him. I'm thinking Jimmy G will probably make it this year because he has major injuries on even years. So 2023, we should be okay. We got him for 3 years. We can get rid of him after 2, salary cap wise. He'll probably get hurt next year. I'm just saying. I'm not wishing it, but he's very brittle, and this offensive line, especially inside, is not very good. We'll talk about a little bit on the UDFAs. Could help with that. Let's get to these last 2 picks in the draft. Amari Burney from Florida, the Gators. We did get a Gator. It was not Richardson. 6th round pick, outside linebacker. The fit's pretty good, to be honest. I would put a little bit because he's a little versatile. He could also play some safety as well, I think. Outside linebacker is safety. I think that's probably where he's kind of a tweener. Obviously, he'll probably play some special teams, especially in the beginning, unless he knocks Patrick Graham's socks off, of course. The needs there, linebackers. We got Masterson. I think Mickey Spillane or whatever, is going to be in the middle. We have Divine Diablo as well. So nothing's truly settled here. And Perryman's gone, of course, unfortunately. The value in the future is probably about where he was slated. So overall, a decent pick. We'll see how it works out as far as this guy goes. And then our last pick in the 7th round, Nesta Jade Silvera from Arizona State. Nose tackle. I don't know if he can play nose at this level. But we don't really need him. We got Farrell and John Jenkins there. But there is some versatility there. He could probably play a little here, a little there, 3-tech. The need is there, of course, with DT. To me, nothing really stood out with this guy when I was watching him. So I just kind of put it down the line average. This is a 7th round pick. Well, let's be honest, 7th round pick. So let's hope everyone knows the good quarterbacks are next year. Kelsey's how tall. You see the wide receivers drafted. He's tall. Jerry Judy's how tall. Dominique, you're preaching to the choir here. I talked about Cortland Sutton on our last mock draft. That's why I wanted a guy like Corey Trice, because he's like 6'2" and he's physical. I think that's where we kind of swung and missed. Now, we went over the draft picks. I'm going to give the overall grade as far as our draft. I'm going to go B-. And that's more on the front end. I think with Tyree Wilson's potential and Mayer, I think he's going to be right out the gate. I think Hooper's going to be a backup. I was never really impressed with him. OJ Howard, everybody made a thing when we signed OJ Howard. I said, he hasn't done shit in like 3 or 4 years. I don't know what everybody's getting excited about. I think Hooper's going to be a backup. Mayer's going to get the top spot, and he's going to perform. So that front end, I like that. The back end, this is a CC minus-ish. So, but of course, I think it's more important to hit on the front end. Of course, you want to find those gems at the back end. But if we've seen with the last regime, if you screw up your front end picks, you're in deep doo-doo. So, Dominic says, exactly, I want to trace as well. Give me a big corner. Give me one big corner. Come on now. I mean, it's getting to the point where Nate Hobbs is one of the biggest corners. I know we signed Faison. I think he's like 6'2". He came back. But he didn't do too well. Faison, as I recall, he did not do too well against Denver. Nobody did, especially Cortland Sutton is a big physical receiver. We got to face him twice every year. I don't think they're going to get rid of the guy. I know they drafted a wide receiver, but he's more of a quicker guy. So that's my thing about the draft itself. Now, the undrafted free agents, UDFAs, here's who we signed. Of course, McClendon Curtis, we talked about him. That was a Dominique pick. If I'm going to look, there's a few of these guys that kind of stand out to me, to be honest, and he's one of them. Just with all the help we need at guard, I am not impressed with our guard play. I still think Parham's going to be our starting center when it's all said and done. I'm a little wondering why we didn't grab a guard at some point in the draft. We didn't. He could very well start for us. Alex Barnes is terrible. I'm not impressed with him at all. A couple of these other guys, Dalton Wagner, a huge left tackle, Arkansas, big guy. He can make the team. I mean, it's possible, but a lot of these guys, these UDFAs, if a lot of them are making the team, to me, that means your regular roster is not very good. That means you're not going to play very well. I mean, you can't find diamonds in the rough, but generally speaking, if you've got a bunch of these guys starting for you, that's a red flag for me. And then Brock Martin, outside linebacker, more of a kind of a 3-4 edge rusher guy. We'll see about that. And Drake Thomas as well. So we'll keep track of these guys, see how they do in preseason, and, in the mini camps and all that. Hear what we're saying, but usually speaking, you may get a couple of these guys make the team. A lot of these guys will either be on the rest of the guys will either be on the practice squad or cut altogether. So, Faison was getting burned too much, yeah. He get burned too much and he go to where was he at? Carolina making play, or no, Green Bay making plays. So yes, very happy with Curtis. That was my guy. Yeah, and it's an area of need. Interior offensive line. I mean, if we're gonna keep Jimmy G from getting destroyed, I mean that's a huge one. I'm okay with Luminor at right tackle. Not saying he's awesome, but he's okay. Brandon Parker's trash. We re-signed him for God knows why. I'm still waiting for the kid. The kid we drafted last year from Ohio State. His name just poofed out of my mind. The swing tackle. I hope he beats him out. I hoped he beat him out last year, but then Parker went on IR. That was a bunch of bullshit anyway. Dalton Wagner, I'd love for him to get a chance over Parker. So let's see. Most are camp bodies, absolutely. And that's what I think. I mean, you got a couple potentials. I think McClendon, out of all these, McClendon and maybe one of the linebackers could very well make that 53. The rest, probably not. Probably camp bodies. It's just the way it is. I mean, you got 31 other teams. That's why they weren't drafted. Let's be honest here. So, what do you guys have to say? How are you guys doing? How optimistic are you about this draft class? Let's hear it. And I have, let's see, let's pull it up. Got it as a pinned comment. If you guys want to come in, talk live with me on Restream, we can do it. Let's pop it over. Let's pop it over. We got it popped over right now. So how you guys doing tonight? Look for that pinned comment. Click the button. You'll be in the green room. I'll let you in. Now, when you do that, be sure to turn your volume down on the live stream because there's a little bit of a delay, so it's going to be a little confusing. And then we'll go from there. Let's see. What say you? What say you? What say you? Let me get down here and see what your comments. Got a lot of comments coming down here. What's your opinion on the DE, the defensive end they signed from Nigeria? We'll see. I heard about him recently. I forgot his name is some Nigerian name. So I don't know much about the guy, to be honest with you, but we'll see. I mean, we've already got edge rusher. I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen with Malcolm Kuntz. I think that's the biggest thing. Remember, he's an old regime guy, so he might not even make the team at the final 53 this year. Let's be honest. Let's see what we are. Let's see. Parker and Barrs signings. I don't understand either. I mean, what are we watching here? I mean, tell me why Brandon Parker should even been re-signed. I don't understand that because he's a swing tackle and we need a swing tackle. We got better ones. We got better Thayer Munford. See, I couldn't think of the name. I'd rather have him as a swing tackle in case Colton gets hurt. Not saying something, not to say he's great, but oh my God, Brandon Parker, give me a break. So I think we have we're down to like 72, according to Spot Track, we're down to like 72 players on the active roster. They cut a few, low-level guys. They restructured, part of Chandler Jones's deal. They moved money out. So we're going to have dead money on him. Not huge money, but we will for like 2 or 3 years after the contract, it looks like. Big swing and a miss on that deal, let's be honest, from the new regime. I know somebody came in here. Kuntz and Diablo are gone. Maybe. We'll see. I want to see what they do. I mean, again, why are we drafting another wide receiver, let alone a wide receiver in the third round? If you wanted speed, you probably got a UDFA with speed and could return kicks. I think we just kind of burned that pick. Let's be honest. Oh yeah, this guy right here. You mean a forward? Because I said the greatness of the Raiders, bringing back the greatness. Dave Ziegler on my title of this live stream, and he put a little snarky comment about a 401k. The only one I say is that's applicable right now is Chandler Jones, because he was a former Patriot before he went to Arizona, of course, and he hasn't done much anything. I'm not going to say that about Jacoby Myers. Jimmy G, he's a transitional guy, let's be honest. And the contract is friendly. Let's be honest with that. And we can get rid of him after 2 years. It made sense. So I'm wondering if they're going to give Aiden O'Connell a chance this year to start to see what they got. And go from there. And that way they'll know if they have to draft a quarterback high end in 2024 or not. So I think overall I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic in terms of I think they're moving the franchise in the right direction. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl next year. No, but there should be some improvement. I think as long as we can keep Jimmy G healthy, we can have a decent chance at this offense. I wonder what's going to happen with Josh Jacobs. Of course, the franchise tag is there, but are we going to get him extended? Do we want to extend him? Are we going to trade Hunter Renfrow now? There's a lot of talk with that because of the Trey Turner pick. Now, if we trade Hunter Renfrow, maybe the Trey Turner pick makes a little bit more sense. It could make more sense. Let's see. And the Nigerian Nightmare, wasn't he a box? That was Christian Okoye from the Chiefs. Was the Nigerian Nightmare. Surprise, more offensive line and linebackers not taken. Yeah, especially at guard. Yeah, absolutely. We should have taken a guard at some point. I think getting McClendon Curtis as a UDFA was a steal. I think he probably should have been a day 3 guy. We got him there, so. How much, Raiders Park has a good question. How much cap space do we have? Over the cap and spot track are much different because of Jimmy G's contract. Yeah, I normally go with spot tracks numbers. It seems like they're a little more accurate. Now, I've said this before. I've done salary cap videos, and I kind of preface it that, you know, they have lawyers and accountants that do this. They have a department under the general manager that capologists. It's kind of like a little voodoo with it too. So you can defer money, you can give more in signing bonuses and take more off the cap for this year. You can redirect it in future years. Look at what the Saints have done. My goodness. You know, they're 60, 70 million over the cap every year, and they sign players. They got Derek Carr for, I think his cap number is what, 2 million this year? Something ridiculously low for a quarterback. You can finesse it. You always got to pay it, but if you can pay it a little bit at a time, that's how they do it. So, like I said, they restructured some of the deal with the Chandler Jones contract, and now they give him a little bit more bonus money. So I think it took about 5 or 6 million off the cap with that. So yeah, so it's not going to be exact because they don't have all the exact numbers and how things are structured. It's usually a little bit off. So that's why I said there's usually about 10. I give it legitimately about 10 or 15 million dollars worth of wiggle room in the cap from the number. He got KO'd by Atwater. Yeah, it's old school. Yeah, I remember that. Christian Okoye. He was one of those guys with kind of like the shoulder pads and the neck. It was like a triangle. He didn't have a neck. It was like a triangle like this. Where the hell is Hefe at? Why don't you? I think Hefe doesn't show up. Hefe didn't show up when I gave him the props for the draft predictions, and now he's not here to talk about Christian Okoye, his guy. I mean, I'm assuming he was a fan back then. Hefe's a little older guy, so what say you? Again, if you guys want to come in here and talk, we're at 7:42. Usually go about an hour. Then I go get some dinner, a little bit of late dinner. I don't like to eat beforehand because I've found if you go on live right after you eat, you kind of get tired. And you know, like they said, the camera, somebody once told me the camera puts on 10 pounds, but it also makes you half as slow or twice as slow or half as fast. It's twice as slow. So when you watch the replay, I'm talking right now, and then I watch the replay, I'm like, dang, I'm slow. And sometimes I even have to, I quicken the videos just a little bit when I do the condensed versions. If you haven't noticed that, I can't do it too much. You sound like a mouse, but it's just the way it is. That's why I don't do there. So go about an hour. Now, when we do the mock drafts, of course, it's longer because those are a little bit more involved. They take a little bit more time. So if you want to come on now. I do have the link is the pinned comment. If you want to click on that, you go in there, and you'll basically be put in the green room. It'll ask, just put your handle there as your name, and you can use your camera or not. That's your choice. And then come on, have a mic, and you want to talk Raider football. You want to talk about the draft. We're right here. So let's see. Let's see. Did I miss anything? A lot of things kind of came down. I was talking about. Let's see. Let me get back to this Malcolm Kuntz. Should Kuntz be gone? I mean, I question that, to be honest with you. From what I've seen, he has not been strong enough at this level to be a defensive end. I think he could probably go to a 3-4 team and maybe be like a standing up outside linebacker rusher. He'd probably do a lot better. But it seems like he gets overpowered. So I don't know. Are we going to keep this guy or not? We'll see. I mean, be very interesting. Diablo, he's been hurt. If you've noticed, it's like, I think the first year he had a knee injury. That was screwed Mayock. Last year he was battling an injury too. Best ability is availability. So we'll see. We'll see with that cat. We'll see. So There it is. What do you think of Malcolm Kuntz making this team? You're reading my mind. Wow. Yeah, I just brought that up because I wanted to talk about it. Yeah, Malcolm Kuntz. I mean, University of Buffalo. They were saying Khalil Mack, and I said no. It's Yannick Ngakoue. He's got that same long, more wiry type of body, and to his detriment, he hasn't really shown the power. I don't know if he just needs to get in the weight room, get stronger, or what, but. When he gets his chance, even in preseason, I've talked about that. This guy gets overpowered by second and third stringers. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, there was a defensive end in the UDFA's. Maybe he has a chance to take his spot as a backup, rotational guy. Probably need at least 4 of those guys, I'm thinking. So we'll see. There is talk, some people saying that they're going to move Chandler Jones to outside linebacker. I don't think so. That doesn't make any sense to me. What makes sense to me is Tyree Wilson being the starter, even though he mostly played on the left side. Tyree Wilson being the starter, Chandler Jones coming in maybe to spell him on third downs. Because, let's face it, I mean, other than that ridiculous lateral from Jacoby Myers, what did Chandler Jones really do last year? Not much. Not much. He got that gift. He got that gift from the Patriots. Let's be honest, it was a gift. Right place, right time. Throw it right to him. Talked about that too. So, especially the money he makes now. With the adjustment to his salary cap, he was number 1 on the team as far as cap hit. Now he's number 4, I believe. I think he's still number 1 as far as he's number 1 on defense now, but he was number 1 overall as far as cap hit for this year on the Raiders roster. It's ridiculous. So Kuntz just doesn't have it. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe that's another reason why you go get a Tyree Wilson. You see overpaid veteran not performing. Malcolm Kuntz not showing up. We need somebody opposite. We have Max Crosby and nobody else. The sacks are atrocious on this team. Bottom 5. Turnovers, dead last. That's why maybe you go get a Chris Smith to generate some turnovers, Trayvon Merrick, time to step up. Looked like he had a sophomore slump to me, especially compared to that rookie season. Rookie season looked very good. I mean, some people were saying rookie of the year. I didn't think so. Still had a good season, though. I think it's very difficult for a safety to get Rookie of the Year. It's usually going to go probably to an edge rusher or corner. Let's see. Guys have anything else? Let's see. Oh, nobody in the restream. That's cool. You got 10 viewers right now. That's usually low, and 11 likes. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, if you are watching, especially if you're watching this on a replay, let me go back to this. There we go. That's the other. This is my scene when we want to have a chat. Maybe I'll stimulate some chat from you guys. Come in here on Restream. If you are watching this on replay, obviously you can't go to Restream because this is the future. You're watching this. It already happened. But why not subscribe to the channel? Why not? If you're enjoying it and you're here this long, why not subscribe to the channel? Let's do it. Why not? Hit that bell notification and go from there, and you can come and join us. So basically with the channel, like I said, I'm going to start doing more content on Patreon. It's very little. I got the link in there if you want to check it out. There's one, it's real cheap. You just to support the channel, because YouTube's pretty much, you're on your own with YouTube. That's the way it is. They're not promoting this channel. It's very snail paced. And then the other one, I'm going to provide more content for you guys. If you want it, that's cool. We'll play it by ear. So do appreciate that. Jones is a dinosaur. Need youngsters. Yeah. Here's the thing, though. I didn't think the tank was run out. I wasn't real happy about the contract when we first signed him. I like the potential. But let's admit, it's only 1 year removed. Maybe he'll bounce back this year, but let's think about it. People shit all over Yannick Ngakoue, and Yannick Ngakoue had 8 sacks when he was here that 1 year, and then we shipped him off. So did much better than Chandler Jones. Same thing with Gus Bradley. A lot of people shit on Gus Bradley as a defensive coordinator. Patrick Graham's done worse. He's done worse, let's be honest. So, again, this is another thing. I mean, maybe that's why another reason why we got Tyree Wilson is Graham's on the hot seat. I think so. And you could say he didn't have enough talent, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you got this guy, you got that guy, you got Byron Young. Let's see what you can do with it. We was it 6 out of the 9 picks were defensive players. So the crazy tight end one didn't make any sense. Not the tight end. The tight end made total sense. The speedy wide receiver Trey Tucker didn't make any sense to me. Mayer, of course, tight end made total sense, and Aiden O'Connell fits the system. Later round draft pick, I'm cool with that. Maybe a decent starter. Like I said, I don't think he's going to be an MVP type player, but if you fix the other areas, it doesn't need to be. He just needs to be accurate, smart here, low turnovers, and keep the offense on the field, basically, and not tire out the defense. So, let's see. Yep, I agree. Graham needs to step it up. I mean, that's what I mean. I mean, people were shitting all over me last offseason because I was saying Gus Bradley didn't do a terrible job. It was like a middle of the road defense 1 year. And I did a Gus Bradley video when we hired him, how he basically kind of turned around every area he's been to, every team he's been to, not just the Legion of Doom. I mean, the Chargers, he kind of improved it too. So, Jacksonville, but he was a head coach, but still, the defense improved. So, but I had a lot of, I'll be honest, I had a lot of optimism for Patrick Graham for what he did the year before with the Giants, basically. And I said this before, I'll say it again. The Giants offense that year was shit, hung the defense out to dry, and they played their asses off to stay in a lot of games. Beat us. We had a bye week. That was pathetic. Card played like crap in that game when we went to the East Coast. I warned about that, and people were like, no, I warned about that. Also they lost, but they played the Chiefs tough too. So, had a lot of optimism for Patrick Graham. He needs to step it up this year. I think Merrick needs to step it up, bounce back from that sophomore year. Chandler Jones needs to step it up big time this year. Big time. So, no more excuses. No more excuses. I still would have liked to have gotten, I probably would have, I said this before, Dalvin Tomlinson, I would have liked to have gotten him. Maybe we couldn't just afford him salary cap wise. I think they could have made it work if they wanted to. But I would have liked somebody there. I know we got John Jenkins. Okay. I was like, he's a one tech though. It's a different type of player. I think Byron Young, if he could be a Dalvin Tomlinson type 3 tech that could push the pocket a little bit, I think that would work out for us. Again, I hope so. I mean, 3rd round picks, to me, 1st round picks need to be starting right away. 2nd round picks probably need to be starting right away too, or have at least a decent, getting a lot of decent reps. And then these 3rd round guys, maybe give them a year, and if they're not there, that's a bad pick. So, unless you find the gems, unless you find the Hunter Renfros, the Max Crosbys of the world, you're looking for those too. But I mean, just evaluating. So anyway, we're almost near an hour, guys. I see a lot of you still here. I appreciate that. If you didn't catch my draft grades, you can rewind it. If you're watching live, I'll probably put it out some condensed versions of the top 3. I did details on the top 3, and then the other 6 draft picks. I just did kind of summaries based on fit and availability, where they were as far as draft value, etc. So go check that out if you didn't check that out already. If you're a little late to the party, that's cool. Do appreciate you guys coming out here. I'll take any last comments before we close this one out. Let's see. What you got? Next week, I'm not sure what we're going to be doing with the channel. We'll see. I'd like to do something a little bit different. But more to come on that. Art White. RY, appreciate that. Good show. Appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. I mean, without you guys, there's no live stream. There's no show. So I enjoy this just as much as you guys do. So with that said, let's see. Good show as always. Appreciate that. Thank you. That said, thanks for coming. Thanks for especially all the regulars. You guys coming out here, supporting the channel, come and see and come see what I have to say. We have our dialogue. That's great. And those new, again, of course, if, whoop, let's see. Of course, I got to switch that around. Okay. Anyway, do appreciate you guys coming out here. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Appreciate you guys coming out on the live streams and participating in my little games, my fun. I mean, I'm not drinking fireballs, but I thought we had some fun last week. I had fun with it. I know Hefe did too, because he won. He won the prediction one. So if you want to go back and watch that one, that was pretty interesting. So anyway, thank you guys for coming out and supporting the channel. And as always, go Raiders.
Ask you something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the years?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.